My dear friends, today I'll be discussing about the management of ischemic stroke. Now, ischemic stroke is a type of acute stroke also known as cerebrovascular accident or brain attack. Now, ischemic stroke constitutes majority of the acute stroke. It constitutes around 80 to 85% of the acute stroke, or majority of the stroke patients are of ischemic variety. Now, ischemic stroke is caused because of blockade in the artery, because of thrombosis, or because of atherosclerosis, because of various risk factors. So, blockage in the arteries supplying a part of brain leads to ischemic stroke. Now, when there is a blockage because of thrombus formation or simply called blood clot formation on the artery supplying a part of brain, then that part of brain cannot get the blood flow, and because of that the neurons are deprived of oxygen as well as nutrition, and because of that the neurons suffers from lack of ATP, and ultimately neurons dies or get damaged because of the energy failure of the neurons or energy failure of the cells. So because of the decreased blood flow or total stoppage of the blood flow, the artery is blocked by a blood clot or thrombus formation. It may be thrombotic or because of embolism from any other part of body, maybe from heart. So even deep vein thrombosis may also responsible for thromboembolism, and ultimately it may leads to blockage of artery of a certain part of brain, which ultimately suffers from ischemic neuronal damage, and ultimately patients become a or shows the clinical sign symptoms of ischemic stroke. Now, the main treatment policy is to remove the clot or lysis the clot. That is, we call it thrombolysis or clot lysis by either using medication, we call it medical management, or in some cases or rare cases we do surgical intervention or surgical to remove the clot if it is very bigger in volume. So the clot lysis is very much important, or removal of the clot by either medicine or drugs or pharmaceutical management. If you can lysis the clot or by thrombolysis drugs, then the area which is not getting blood supply, its circulation can be reversed, and ultimately we can prevent it from brain damage or neuronal death, which ultimately decrease the mortality, disability and morbidity of the ischemic stroke patients. So thus main mission of the medical therapy as well as surgical therapy is to remove the clot from the blocked artery so as to make the circulation reversible, and so we have to prevent the further brain damage because of lack of blood flow or lack of blood supply to the affected area of the brain. Now, from the time of stroke onset, from the time of stroke onset and the time of initiation therapy, lesser is the time period, or more early, or if you start the therapy as early as possible, it is always available, easy to save the life of patient if the time period is lesser. So lesser the time period or as early as possible, if you diagnose and initiate the therapy, more easily we can save the life of patient, we can decrease the morbidity, we can decrease the mortality, increase the survivability as well as decrease the disability and late complication of the ischemic stroke. That's why it is always advisable to diagnose the type of stroke as early as possible, as well as we can start the therapy, medical management as early as possible so as to prevent the complication or late complication or even decrease the mortality of the ischemic stroke. Now, the first management policy is medical management. So there are two types of management strategy for acute ischemic stroke. One is medical management, another one is surgical management. Medical management is the first line of defense or first line of therapy for acute stroke patients, especially ischemic stroke, getting admission into a stroke unit or a medicine ward or emergency department. So first thing we are going to do is thrombolysis. Now thrombolysis with the help of medicines like alteplase or RTPA, we call recombinant tissue plasminogen activator, and there is a special name for it, we call alteplase. Alteplase is a drug which can be given IV and which is responsible for clot lysis or breaking down of the clot or thrombolysis, breaking down of the thrombus that ultimately responsible for blocking the artery supplying certain part of brain causing ischemic stroke. Then it is given or best if it is done within 3 hours of onset of the stroke, and up to 4.5 hours of onset of the stroke it can be used. And medical thrombolysis, it is very much benefited if we do the thrombolysis as early as possible. It can prevent the brain damage, it can prevent the further progression of the ischemic stroke, it can prevent the disability, mortality, as well as increase the survivability of the ischemic stroke patients. Besides, it can also prolong the life of the patients and prevent the late complication of the disease. So medical thrombolysis is very much important, and it is the first line of therapy for those patients who are admitted as acute ischemic stroke or diagnosed to be acute ischemic stroke. But it is best when it is done within 3 hours of onset of the stroke symptoms, but it can be done up to 4.5 hours of stroke symptoms. But studies have shown that when the person or after 5 hours or 6 hours, the benefit of getting thrombolysis is not so much or it is less. So it is best when it is done as early as possible, less than 3 hours of stroke symptoms. Now for the patient, if they are suffering from any other disease like blood sugar, high blood sugar, because the patient is suffering from uncontrolled diabetes mellitus or hypercholesterolemia, or if there is fever, we have to treat accordingly. So if there is fever, we have to treat with analgesics like paracetamol. If there is constipation, we have to give stool laxatives. If there is airway problem, we have to maintain the airway and breathing and as well as circulation. And at the same time, we have to go for long-term management. Long-term management means if the patient presented to the medicine emergency after 24 hours, in such situation thrombolysis cannot be done, because thrombolysis is best within 4.5 hours. But if it is more than 24 hours, we have to start with aspirin, which are antiplatelets. So antiplatelets is the treatment modalities for those patients who are presenting after 24 hours, and for them aspirin as well as clopidogrel, dipyridamole, these are antiplatelet, and these drugs actually block the platelet aggregation, activation, as well as thrombus formation or platelet plaque formation. So antiplatelet is very much important, especially it is best within 24 to 48 hours. And even after thrombolysis also, patient can be advised after 24 hours so as to prevent further platelet aggregation, further thrombus formation. So it is very much essential also. So antiplatelet like aspirin, clopidogrel, dipyridamole, these are the various group of drugs which ultimately helps in prevention of platelet aggregation, activation, as well as clot formation. Next comes the blood pressure lowering drugs or antihypertensives. Now if the patient present with hypertension, we have to lower down the blood pressure, because hypertension can aggravate the further ischemic stroke and it may cause further damage, and even it may responsible for hemorrhagic transformation, and that's why we have to lower down the blood pressure by using some drugs like angiotensin converting inhibitors, then diuretics, which is called water pills, which is responsible for excretion of water and ultimately lower down the blood pressure, then calcium channel blockers, which are vasodilators, which ultimately responsible for fall in blood pressure. Then we can go for beta blockers, which is good for heart and prevents arrhythmia also, then alpha blocker and so on. Especially angiotensin E converting enzyme inhibitors or AC inhibitors like captopril, enalapril, lisinopril we can give, Ramipril. These drugs can be used. Besides thiazide diuretics, diet or loop diuretics can be used, like furosemide, which ultimately lowers the blood pressure. So antihypertensives acts very much when pressure is very much high, but we should be cautious that we should not lower the blood pressure very less than 90/60, because even too low blood pressure may also aggravate the or increase the ischemic events of the brain and ultimately aggravate the sign symptoms of the disease. That's why we should not keep the blood pressure too high, and also we should prevent it from lowering too less. So we have to keep the blood pressure in optimum level so as to get the proper rapid and good prognosis of the patients. Besides, if the patient present with hypercholesterolemia or high cholesterol level, we have to lower down the cholesterol by giving statins or hypolipidemic drugs like atorvastatin, simvastatin, rosuvastatin, etc. This group of drugs lower the cholesterol level, and it is very much important because cholesterol deposition may aggravate the narrowingness as well as ischemic events. Statins can be advised for long or prolonged therapy or long-term therapy so as to prevent the further recurrence of acute ischemic events. So these are the various treatment policy for acute ischemic stroke. Even if the patient is suffering from diabetes, then we have to start oral hypoglycemic agents or insulin if the patient cannot take, so as to keep the blood sugar level at normal range or to lower the blood sugar level from higher level. At the same time, if the patient is suffering from any fever or low grade fever or high grade fever, we have to treat with analgesics, appropriate analgesics. And if the for long term therapy, if the patient is not passing stool or suffering from constipation, then laxatives can be given so as to prevent constipation. Besides, if the patient present with cerebral edema because of ischemic events that is going on in the brain because of blockade in the artery, some edema may develop. We call it cerebral edema around the ischemic tissue, and which this cerebral edema may ultimately be treated. Otherwise, it may leads to increased intracranial pressure and even brain herniation and sometimes leads to death. So to treat that condition, we have to lower down the intracranial pressure. Then IV mannitol, it's a osmolar therapy, is very much important. So we have to give IV mannitol to lower down the intracranial pressure, as well as it cures the cerebral edema or development of cerebral edema. Besides, we can also go for other sign symptoms treatment to lower the intracranial pressure, like hyperventilation we can do so as to prevent the rise of intracranial pressure as a complication of ischemic stroke. Some intervention technology can also play an important role within few hours of acute ischemic stroke onset. So one of these is mechanical thrombectomy. In mechanical thrombectomy, here is a endovascular technique where a catheter is introduced to a vessel of the brain. Especially it is done for large vessel obstruction of brain, and catheter is introduced up to certain level of the brain vasculature of the large vessel, and if there is formation of any clot out there, it can remove the clot with a stent or clot retrieval techniques. Here a wire cage device or a stent retriever technique is used, and this technique is best within 6 hours, but even it can be done within 24 hours of sign symptoms of acute stroke onset. Sometimes this mechanical thrombectomy is associated with medical thrombolysis so as to get maximum benefit of the clot lysis or to maximum thrombolysis. So with the catheter also, sometimes drug is given or medicines, thrombolysis medicines like alteplase, RTPA are injected into the clot with the catheter or endovascular technique so as to increase the clot lysis or thrombolysis very much. Thus, this mechanical thrombectomy is best when it is done within 6 hours, but it can be done up to 24 hours of onset of stroke onset. So it is an endovascular technique, and especially it is targeted for large vessel obstruction or blockade in the large vessel. Here a catheter is introduced into the some vessels, and ultimately it is taken up to the cerebral vasculature and then with the help of a stent retriever we have to remove the clot in the large vessels, and ultimately the clot can be or blockade can be reversible, or we can prevent the further progression of the disease as well as save the life of the patient. So this type of endovascular technique or mechanical thrombectomy can be done within 6 hours, or it is best, or we get the maximum benefit when it is done within 6 hours of acute ischemic stroke onset. However, in some patients we can do up to 24 hours also. So this is all about mechanical thrombectomy. But for long-term patients or those patients who got admitted or who are admitted to the emergency department after 24 hours, for them mechanical thrombectomy may not play important role, because it is best when it is early or when it is done within 6 hours. But when it is more than 24 hours or 48 hours, then medical treatment like antiplatelet, anticoagulants plays important role. Beside medical management with antiplatelets like aspirin, clopidogrel, we have also anticoagulants. Sometimes anticoagulants can be used like warfarin or vitamin K antagonist so as to prevent the coagulation, because accelerated or exaggerated coagulation is responsible for thrombus formation or clot formation in vessels of the brain. That's why anticoagulants like vitamin K antagonist like warfarin must be used along with other drugs. Now, if the patient of the ischemic stroke have some pre-existing heart disease, we have to treat the heart disease. If it is valvular heart disease like mitral stenosis, we have to treat accordingly. We have to also give antiarrhythmic drugs so as to prevent atrial fibrillation, because atrial fibrillation is one of the important risk factor as well as cause for ischemic stroke, especially of embolic stroke or thromboembolic stroke, because atrial fibrillation is responsible for fibrillation in the chambers of the heart, especially left atrium, and it may be associated with mitral stenosis, and it is responsible for thrombus or clot formation in the chambers of heart, which ultimately can dislodge or lodge into some cerebral circulation, leading to embolic stroke or thromboembolic stroke. So that type of stroke, which is because of source of clot is in the heart, and the lodgement or blocking of the arteries of the cerebral vessel, that phenomena we call it embolism, because here the clot transferred from one place of a body and transferred to another place and causes blockade of the artery in another part of the body. So when the atrial fibrillation can also lead to thromboembolic stroke, and we have to treat the atrial fibrillation by giving proper medicine. We must add anticoagulation. Warfarin we can give so as to prevent further clotting and further ischemic events to occur. So that's why you have to treat the atrial fibrillation. We can give arrhythmia lowering drugs or arrhythmia curing drugs so as to prevent the arrhythmia that may occur in the atrial fibrillation. So when it comes to medical management, there are so many medical management. The first line of defense or first line of therapy is thrombolysis, which is best before 3 hours of stroke onset. It can be done within 4.5 hours of acute ischemic stroke onset. It is also called IV RTPA or recombinant tissue plasminogen activator or alteplase. It is given in IV mode so as to cause thrombolysis of the clot or clot lysis. It is responsible for prevention of brain damage, prevention of progression of the disease, decreases the mortality, morbidity, disability, and increase the survivability of the patients. So it is always advisable to start the thrombolysis therapy as soon as possible so as to prevent the further aggravation of the ischemic stroke. Beside, there is antiplatelet so as to prevent the further aggregation and so as to prevent clot formation. Some drugs like aspirin, clopidogrel, dipyridamidol. So these are the various group of drugs which ultimately act as antiplatelet and prevent further clot formation. They are also used for long-term therapy or even the patient admitted after 24 hours of the stroke onset. There is anticoagulant also so as to prevent further coagulation and clot formation. Examples is warfarin, vitamin K antagonist, etc. Besides, we have antihypertensive drugs like angiotensin converting enzyme, thiazide diuretics, calcium channel blocker, beta blocker, so as to decrease the blood pressure. Blood pressure should be kept in minimum or at optimum mode so as to decrease the side effects of hypertension. We should also be cautious so that the blood pressure is not lowered very too much, otherwise it may leads to further aggravation of ischemic events. Then we can give statins or atorvastatin so as to lower the high cholesterol level. We can also we must treat the diabetes. If the blood sugar is very high, we can treat with insulin so as to lower the blood sugar level, because high uncontrolled diabetes may also complicate the ischemic events. Besides, if there is fever and other pain, then we can give analgesics so as to cure the fever or pyrexia. Besides, if the patient has other sign symptoms like constipation or not passing of stools, we can give stool softener so as to normalize the bowel habits. At the same time, if the patient has sign symptoms of intracranial pressure or increased intracranial pressure or cerebral edema, we can give IV mannitol as well as hyperventilation so as to lower the intracranial pressure, so that we can prevent the brain herniation and complication of cerebral edema, and so as to prevent death of the patients. So these are the various medical management of ischemic stroke. Besides, there is another technique known as mechanical thrombectomy. That is the endovascular technique, where a wire is introduced into the large vessel. It is mainly done for large vessel obstruction, and it is best when it is done within 6 hours of acute stroke onset, but it can be benefited also if it is done within 24 hours of stroke onset. But after 24 hours, normally mechanical thrombectomy are not advised, rather we go for medical management. Now comes the some preventive measures. Sometimes we should give antiplatelet, warfarin anticoagulants, and other therapies and neuroprotective therapies, some vitamins, so as to prevent the further neuronal damage. But sometimes when the ischemia is very big, or area of ischemic lesion in the brain in case of ischemic stroke is very much big or very high volume, then we have to go for surgical therapy. Now surgical therapy is specially done, and there are several surgical techniques so as to decrease the risk of further stroke onset as well as prevention of brain damage and to decrease the complication of the disease. So one of these technique is carotid endarterectomy and arterectomy. Here the plaque that is deposited in the carotid artery are removed. This is to prevent the further stroke as well as progression of the stroke and prevent the risk of the stroke. So here the carotid artery thickening is first detected with carotid ultrasound, and it is found, if it is found that the carotid artery diameter is very less because of deposition of fat or cholesterol plaques in the carotid artery, we have to remove the obstructions, or we have to maintain the patency of the carotid artery by doing carotid endarterectomy, and it is one of the important endovascular technique. Besides, there is another technique or microsurgical technique called brain bypass surgery. Here, if a area of brain is obstructed or area of artery is blocked because of thrombus formation or clot formation, then new arteries will be, or new route of blood supply is originated and implanted so as to prevent the brain attack or further ischemic damage of the brain. So actually here a new path of blood supply to a brain is created by introduction of any arterial graft, and that we call it brain bypass surgery, and it is just like coronary artery bypass grafting, what we do in case of heart to prevent heart attack. So it is, you call it brain bypass surgery. Besides, there are endovascular technique or interventional radiological technique so as to remove the clot. And there is another technique known as endovascular thrombolysis. What is this? Here a microcatheter is introduced into an artery through groin, and ultimately that blocked artery is targeted, and here the thrombolysis agents like RTPA, recombinant tissue plasminogen activator, is injected, and which is responsible for clot lysis or disintegration of the clot. So that is called endovascular thrombolysis, and it is also done in some cases when medical management does not help much. Besides, we have some other complex technique also known as cerebral angioplasty as well as stenting. It is done when a artery is detected which undergoes narrowing because of clot formation as well as atherosclerosis. Here we are going to put a catheter or guided with a balloon which is dilated, and so as to maintain the patency as well as to remove the obstruction of the corresponding artery. So a catheter with a balloon is inserted into the obstructed artery and it is dilated or inflated so as to remove the obstruction, and it is just like coronary angioplasty, but since it is done in cerebral vasculature, we call it cerebral angioplasty. And even sometimes stents are produced or are kept or introduced so as to prevent the further complication of the disease. So these are the various technologies or surgical techniques which is done in some cases so as to prevent the risk of stroke as well as treatment of acute ischemic stroke. Thank you very much.